Have you seen those videos where it's like, how do you explain this to somebody, and they're doing something in the video, or they're talking something about like their culture or, their experience or whatever? I feel like that's the same thing that happens when your mindset shifts, when your identity starts to change. It's like, how do you explain this to somebody? And I'm going to try to do that right now. So I think there's this thing about needs, right? Like there's this huge space in our lives where we don't really tell people what we need. We try to become what somebody else needs so that we can be needed, or at least have that person. And then we think, well, if I get with this person, I can change them and mold them into what I need, okay? I feel like the problem that most people have is you get deeply out of alignment with another person. And I think there's a denying who you are. So like for a long time, I used to be in this place where I would not let people know how much of a depth I had emotionally, right? Because I always felt like as a kid, like my dad would tell me, like, he'd say, like your bladder's within 2 inches of your eyes, or, stuff like that. Because I was very sensitive, and I thought that was a bad thing. But I've come to this conclusion that like depth of emotion is not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. And it's so rare in the world anyway for people to have depth of emotion, like emotional intelligence and emotional understanding, that when you are pushing that side of you down, then you're not allowing the world to have exposure to that, right? But here was the thing that like got me. I was doing cardio, and I really felt like this was God telling this to me. But I was doing cardio, and the Lord was like, you think that your need is so big that it doesn't exist. You think your need is so like rare and so odd, and that you're so different that there's not a match for you. And then he reminded me of something. When Adam was in the garden and God had created everything that he had created, and Adam had a need, but like a need that I don't even think he knew how to express, because you don't hear the Bible like record that Adam asked God for this. God watched him and saw that he needed it, right? And so your divine creator knew exactly how to create you and made you, and did that intentionally with purpose, and on purpose designed you exactly like you are, unapologetically. The sad thing is that we get exposed to people who don't know how to hold that or contain that, or they don't know how to navigate that, because it's not who they are and not the experience of what they've had in their life, right? And so that looks difficult and hard and challenging, and so they don't know what to do with it, so they try to transform it or make it smaller or shame it, whatever you might want to call it. But if what you are a match for does not exist, God will create it. When Adam needed an Eve, he created her. So if you get into a place where you get so in line with who you are, God